Today I'll be reacting to when Michael Jordan bullied Larry Bird and instantly regretted it. So let's go right into the video.
You are currently looking at a 21-year-old Michael Jordan, a kid who is fresh off his junior season at North Carolina and has yet to play in a single NBA game. You are also currently looking at a 27-year-old Larry Bird, who is in his prime. Looking at this matchup on paper, this should have been no contest. Jordan was the leader of the 1984 Olympic team, a team made up of college kids, while Bird, he was leading a team full of NBA All-Stars who were supposed to toughen up the college kids before the Olympics and show them what life in the NBA was like. Only that's not what happened. Instead, Michael would go on to embarrass Larry and in turn created a rivalry that Michael himself would regret, because sure, Mike put up individual numbers against Bird and the Celtics that were absurd, but as you are about to see, during his time in the NBA, Michael Jordan eventually got the best of basically every star he ever faced off against except for one, and that man is Larry Bird. Now, you guys may remember this sequence from The Last Dance, and I'm going to explain to you why it's so meaningful.
Enjoy yourself, dog. Y'all gave us the run for our money. Yeah. Now you can work on that golf game of yours.
As you just saw, Michael cursed out a then head coach of the Indiana Pacers version of Larry Bird after the 1998 Eastern Conference Finals, where the Pacers took the Bulls to 7 games. Now, Michael said these curses with a smile, but there was no joking when it came to Michael Jordan and basketball. Mike was this hyped to beat Larry because after taking him down in that Olympic exhibition game, in all reality, Jordan would never really get the best of Larry again, and instead, it was Larry Bird who would get his revenge. So what's up guys, Mike here, and today we are taking a deep dive on the story between Michael Jordan and Larry Bird.
That is interesting though. That is interesting. Larry Bird was nice. Larry Bird was the truth. I think that is funny though. Like Michael Jordan never got the best of Larry Bird. Well, team-wise, he never got the best of Larry Bird. Well, Michael Jordan went crazy on the Celtics every single time he played them. It's just team-wise, the Chicago Bulls can never beat the Celtics. Like team-wise, Michael Jordan will hoop on the Celtics, but his team would never beat the Celtics with Larry Bird. Especially this Michael Jordan coming into the league as well. New team. Probably was a bad team, so they pretty much giving him the keys to carry the team. Like Mike said in the video, Bird was in his prime. The Celtics were in their prime. So yeah, I understand how Jordan struggled beating Larry Bird. I get that. It's funny because pretty much every star that played against Michael Jordan during Michael Jordan's time in the NBA, he pretty much did beat them. Jordan and the Bulls, he pretty much beat all of them, pretty much. Yeah, Michael Jordan, he beat Isaiah Thomas, he beat Magic, Clyde Drexler, John Stockton, Karl Malone, Charles Barkley. Players like that, he did pretty much, him and the Bulls pretty much did beat up on all of them, but Larry Bird. I think that's hilarious.
Hey guys, Mike here, and today we are taking a deep dive on the story between Michael Jordan and Larry Bird. An underrated rivalry that, again, could possibly be the only rivalry that Michael Jordan was ever bested in. There are some absolutely crazy stories in this video. I know you're gonna love it. Now, let's talk about this video. Let's set the stage with the 1984 Olympic team and the NBA All-Stars. Because you see, in order to get his team ready for the 1984 Olympics, Bob Knight scheduled 8 exhibitions with current NBA players, including several current All-Stars and future Hall of Famers. Now remember, at this point in time, only college kids could play in the Olympics. However, it was expected that these college kids would lose to the NBA All-Stars, right? Well, we'll get into that, but this also led to the first documented Michael Jordan versus Larry Bird matchup on July 9th, 1984. In this game, the NBA All-Star starting lineup featured future 3-time NBA champion John Paxson, 3-time All-Star Mark Aguirre, and 3 Hall of Famers in Robert Parrish, Isaiah Thomas, and of course, Larry Bird. Meanwhile, the Olympic team had 3 future Hall of Famers in Michael Jordan, Chris Mullin, and Patrick Ewing, but these were just college kids and they had no business really competing with NBA All-Stars. The Olympic team actually went 8-0 against 8 separate teams of NBA stars. As we all know, Michael Jordan was not the number 1 or number 2 pick in the 1984 draft, but playing for Bob Knight, Jordan established himself as a dominant force, and it was clear this guy was going to make a huge impact in the league right away, and he did.
I had to go back. That low-key was funny with Larry Bird.
With
Hold up.
NBA All-Stars. The Olympic team.
Now this is funny. Larry Bird getting mad about losing. He inbounds the ball to himself, then steps out of bounds and never gets called.
team actually went 8-0 against 8 separate teams of NBA stars. As we all know, Michael Jordan was not the number 1 or number 2 pick in the 1984 draft, but playing for Bob Knight, Jordan established himself as a dominant force, and it was clear this guy was going to make a huge impact in the league right away, and he did, as Mike would average over 28 points per game as a rookie. Now, because of this, Larry Bird saw Jordan as a threat. He saw him as a young kid who was going to try to come in and take over the league that Bird was currently dominating. Remember, Larry was the MVP in 1984, and
So Michael Jordan averaged 28 points per game in his rookie year. Michael Jordan played 3 years in college, right? That brother should have left after year 1. What? Your first year in the NBA, you averaged 28 a game? Bro, you should have been left college. Oh, man. What? That's actually insane. Well, in my opinion, I don't think no one else in NBA history is ever doing that. Like, I don't know, when 28 points per game your first year in the NBA? That's wild. Michael Jordan was a dog. Man, that's funny.
as Mike would average over 28 points per game as a rookie. Now, because of this, Larry Bird saw Jordan as a threat. He saw him as a young kid who was going to try to come in and take over the league that Bird was currently dominating. Remember, Larry was the MVP in 1984, and he would actually win MVP in 1985 and 1986 as well. This meant that Larry legend was at his apex, and he wanted Michael Jordan to know this was his league, which meant, according to Sports Illustrated, during the pregame warmups in Indy, Jordan had chased the ball to the NBA end, whereupon Bird controlled it. Did Bird hand it to Jordan? He did not. Without a smile, Bird kicked the ball over Jordan's head back to the Olympians' end. Jordan didn't seem surprised, he just shook his head. 4 nights later, when Jordan crashed to the floor in Milwaukee and Johnson paused to help him up, the NBA coach waved Johnson off. Get away from him. He's been over our backs all night, shouted none other than Oscar Robertson. Looking at Larry Bird specifically here, you heard that right. When a ball bounced to the NBA All-Star side and Michael Jordan went to retrieve it, Larry Bird did not give it to him. Instead, he kicked it over Michael Jordan's head.
That is wild. Like, come on, Larry. Man, that's funny. Larry Bird funny for that. He like, hey, this how the NBA is, brother. Hey, we just ain't gonna be nice to you like that just coming in because you're a nice player now. Come on, you gotta earn it. You gotta earn it.
Specifically here, you heard that right. When a ball bounced to the NBA All-Star side and Michael Jordan went to retrieve it, Larry Bird did not give it to him. Instead, he kicked it over Michael Jordan's head. With this, Larry was telling Mike, I don't care who you are, you're going to have to earn respect in the NBA, and it's going to be tough.
That's what I just said. That's what I just said. That's what I just said. Like, yeah, MJ, you nice, but you gotta earn it, though. That's what Larry Bird was doing with that.
Said he kicked it over Michael Jordan's head. With this, Larry was telling Mike, I don't care who you are, you're going to have to earn respect in the NBA, and it's going to be tough. The thing is, though, this move would look kind of silly because on this night, Michael Jordan would embarrass the NBA All-Stars, including Larry Bird. Mike would help lead the Olympic team to a win as he showcased his jaw-dropping athleticism and his ability to already seemingly score at will. And of course, it wouldn't be a Michael Jordan game if there was not a huge highlight, which came in the form of this absolutely monster dunk over Robert Reed. Now, as for what Mike thought about Larry's actions during warm-ups, he would later say, quote, Bird was showing me it was all business now and I was beneath him. I didn't forget. Which means, I guess you could say, Michael Jordan took this personal. But the thing is, Larry Bird took this personal too. Remember, Larry was in his absolute prime at this point, but so were several Hall of Fame guards and forwards, and as I'm about to show you, Michael would eventually get the best of all of these players. Because when Michael entered the NBA, 4 guards/forwards would make the first team All-NBA in Michael's first 2 seasons. These men were Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, and Dominique Wilkins. Now, as you can see against Dominique, for his career, Michael beat him in everything. Wins, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, points, you name it. Michael had Dominique's number in the regular season, and in the playoffs, the two matched up once and Mike's Bulls swept Dominique. Moving on to Magic Johnson.
Wait, hold up. Yeah, I said it earlier though, like Michael Jordan, he would get the best of like players like Isaiah Thomas and Magic Johnson. I didn't even mention Dominique Wilkins. Dominique Wilkins was nice. People don't talk about Dominique Wilkins enough. Dominique Wilkins was a dog. Even though MJ beat him more times, because the Bulls was probably better than the Hawks. Think about it. MJ averaging 32 on 52. Dominique Wilkins averaging 30 on 48% shooting. MJ and Dominique pretty much both averaged 7 rebounds. MJ averaged more assists. Dominique averaged like 3 assists. MJ got 3 steals. Oh my goodness. Dominique averaged 1. And I think that's, blocks per game. MJ averaged 1. Pretty much Dominique averaged 1. Yeah, but people, in my opinion, they don't talk about Dominique Wilkins enough. He was nice. Dominique Wilkins was nice. I remember one time it was on TV. It was an NBA Hardwood Classic. It was a game. It was Dominique Wilkins going against Michael Jordan. That was a great game, by the way. I forgot what was the date of the game, but that was an excellent game. Like, both of them was going crazy. I think both of them had over 40. That was a great game. But yeah, Dominique Wilkins, he's for sure underrated. People don't talk about him enough. He was nice.
As you can see against Dominique, for his career, Michael beat him in everything. Wins, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, points, you name it. Michael had Dominique's number in the regular season, and in the playoffs, the two matched up once and Mike's Bulls swept Dominique. Moving on to Magic Johnson. Michael barely snuck out a win difference in the regular season, and I would say certainly he had better overall numbers, but what was most important was, in their one meeting in the NBA Finals, Jordan dominated and the Bulls won Mike's first championship in 5 games. So again, advantage Mike. This brings us to Isaiah.
Wait, hold up. I'm sorry. Wait, these stats are insane. Look at this guy, Magic. Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson have different play styles. So Michael Jordan against Magic in regular season, he averaged 37, 7, 2 steals, and a block. Michael Jordan is insane. Michael Jordan is insane. On 48% shooting, Magic Johnson averaged 20, 6 rebounds. I think that's a 3. 11 assists? A steal? Was that pretty much no blocks at all? Like, but still though, 37 and 7. That's MJ. Magic is 26 and 11. Oh my gosh, these stats are insane.
Regular season, and I would say certainly he had better overall numbers, but what was most important was, in their one meeting in the NBA Finals, Jordan dominated and the Bulls won Mike's first championship in 5 games. So again, advantage Mike. This brings us to Isaiah Thomas, the one other name on this list that actually has an argument for besting Mike. Now, in the regular season, Isaiah did win more games, but again, I'd say Mike had better numbers, and then in the playoffs, Mike's numbers were clearly better, but Isaiah does have the win differential here. The thing is though, Mike would get his revenge against Isaiah. He would of course knock out the Pistons in the 1991 Eastern Conference Finals after years of losing to them, a revenge that was so sweet that the Pistons refused to shake hands with the Bulls after they were swept. This revenge...
Now, that was funny though, Isaiah Thomas not shaking Michael Jordan's hand after years of beating him. I thought that was funny. That's actually funny. Like, come on, man, you can't be that salty. Come on, you can shake the man's hand now. Come on, you can shake his hand. I gotta go back though. These layups from MJ is crazy. Wait, the stats are nice too, but these layups...
Playoffs...
Like I said, Michael Jordan have the greatest layup package in NBA history.
Mike's numbers were clearly better, but Isaiah does have the win differential here. The thing is though, Mike would get his revenge against Isaiah. He would of course knock out the Pistons in the 1991 Eastern Conference Finals after years of losing to them, a revenge that was so sweet that the Pistons refused to shake hands with the Bulls after they were swept. This revenge makes all the difference, because in Michael's matchups against Larry Bird, when looking at them head to head, we can see that in the regular season, Larry bested Mike in the wins column and put up similar numbers other than score. Then in the playoffs, bam, Bird's Celtics took down Jordan's Bulls all 6 times they played, and even though Mike had some absurd games, including of course his 63-point outburst against the 1986 Celtics where Larry would call Michael Jordan God disguised as Michael Jordan, Larry and his team always got the best of Michael, and that never changed. Jordan would never get revenge over Larry Bird, which...
See, that's what I said. He said, Mike, you heard Mike said, he said Larry Bird and his team. Because Michael Jordan, them stats to me, he was better than Larry Bird. That's me. That's my opinion. I'm not saying Larry Bird garbage or Larry Bird was trash. Larry Bird, in my opinion, he's a top 10 player in NBA history. I got him 6th all time. But I'm just saying, it was clear. Like I said earlier in the video, it was clear. Larry Bird was in his prime. That's when the Celtics were winning championships. The Celtics were a better team than Michael Jordan's team because Michael Jordan was just coming in the NBA. Like, come on. Basketball is a team sport. But my goodness, did they... Wait. I gotta go back. I gotta go back though. These stats from MJ is crazy. I gotta go back. So regular season, Michael Jordan against Larry Bird. Larry Bird's stats is crazy too. I'm not dismissing that either. So Larry Bird stats against Michael Jordan regular season, he averaged 27, 8 or 9 rebounds, 6 assists, pretty much a steal and a block. That's great stats, by the way. But Michael Jordan, of course, he lost because the Bulls wasn't as good as the Celtics, especially Larry Bird in his prime. It was hard to beat the Celtics. Michael Jordan averaged 34, 51% shooting, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, and a block. That is crazy. That is insane. That is insane. What? Oh my goodness. Yo. Wait, let's go to the playoffs, though. Let's go to the playoff stats. Hold up. Now, okay, Larry Bird playoffs against Michael Jordan. Like Mike said, pretty much he beat him every time. 27, 53% shooting. Well, 27 points per game, 53% shooting, pretty much 10 rebounds. Well, 9 or 10 rebounds, pretty much 9 assists, 2 steals, and a block. That is great, Larry Bird. But look at Michael Jordan's stats. 40 points a game. Yo, Michael Jordan is not human. 40 points a game, 46% shooting, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. What? What? Michael Jordan was not human. Them stats are insane. Hey, no, Larry Bird is a great player. Do not get me wrong. I am not disrespecting Larry Bird. Larry Bird was great, but Michael Jordan was just different. He was just different.
Jordan's Bulls all 6 times they played, and even though Mike had some absurd games, including of course his 63-point outburst against the 1986 Celtics where Larry would call Michael Jordan God disguised as Michael Jordan, Larry and his team always got the best of Michael, and that never changed. Jordan would never get revenge over Larry Bird, which is of course not only extremely rare, but makes Larry one of a kind. And the thing is, Mike acknowledged this. When Larry eventually retired, Michael would make this statement. Larry, I hear that you're retiring. Thank goodness, I'm glad. I'm tired of seeing your face. You brought a lot of sad memories for me. I enjoyed it and I wish you a lot of luck, and I think you had a great and wonderful career. You ruined a lot of my successful games against the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, Larry Bird was nice. Like I was saying, Larry Bird is nice. I'm not disrespecting Larry Bird at all. Larry Bird was nice. I understand why people have Larry Bird in their top 5. That is no disrespect to Larry Bird. Larry Bird was the truth. Larry Bird was nice. Like now, like you hear like takes people talking about Larry Bird wouldn't be great in today's NBA. I'm like, huh? Larry Bird will be destroying everybody in the NBA today. Who's gonna guard him? Like his game, it reminds me of Luka and Jokic. Of course, Larry Bird is better defensively than Luka and Jokic. I think that's obvious. But Larry Bird got the jump shot. Great passer. Not a horrible defender. Larry Bird was a great rebounder. I think Larry Bird averaged 10 rebounds a game for his career. Larry Bird will be hooping in today's NBA. Actually, today's NBA fits his play style. The spacing, can you imagine the passes and the shot making? Oh my gosh. Like the spacing Larry Bird have to play make in today's NBA? Come on now. Larry Bird will be hooping in today's NBA. Like, don't let the athleticism fool you. Larry Bird wasn't like crazy athletic, but he was highly skilled.
Wonderful career. You ruined a lot of my successful games against the Boston Celtics. Some great words and some telling words, because we can see here Larry Bird was really the one guy that Michael Jordan never got. And sure, Larry Bird's Celtics were better than Michael Jordan's Bulls early on, but that was the case of a lot of teams when Michael Jordan entered the NBA. The thing is, Mike got revenge on every single one of those teams except for the Celtics and Bird. This already is huge, and I think because of this, Mike not only had the ultimate respect for Larry, but he also openly admitted that he learned a lot from him, especially in the matter of getting into his opponent's heads. Mike has stated, Larry Bird is the greatest trash talker and mind game player of all time. He taught me everything I know about getting in folks' heads. This was certainly true. During his time in the NBA, Mike watched as Larry did the following things, and this is just naming a few Larry Bird trash talking stories as there are a ton, but number 1, in Mike's rookie year, Larry was playing the Atlanta Hawks and dropped 60 points. An amazing feat that was even more incredible because according to Doc Rivers, quote, the last shot he said in the trainer's lap coming down the court, which meant it was going to be a 3 and it was going to be from deep. And then he said, who wants it? Then I think Reggie Brown, I'm not sure who it was, ran out after him. He shot this high rainbow. It goes in. Reggie bumps into him and accidentally knocks him on our trainer's lap. Yes, Larry Bird actually landed in the trainer's lap, scored 60 points on the Atlanta Hawks, and the Atlanta Atlanta Hawks bench celebrated. Absolutely amazing. Story number 2, of course, Larry went into the locker room before the 1988 three-point contest, asked everyone competing who is coming in second, then proceeded to keep his warm-up jacket on and win the contest on this final shot.
This is a tie for the money. Yo! Larry Bird at the buzzer with the 2-point ball.
Then, of course, we have number 3, an absolute classic, as on Christmas Day in 1990, Larry went up to Indiana Pacer Chuck Person before the game and said, "Hey Chuck, I have a Christmas present for you." Then, during that game, he pulled a 3 in Chuck's face and said, "Merry Christmas," as he drained it. These are just 3 of the legendary trash-talking stories that Larry Bird racked up during his NBA career, and I wanted to highlight them because Michael saw what Larry was doing. Michael saw how effective this trash-talking was and began to do the same. He saw that Larry played mind games with his opponents and that this paid off big time, and so Michael developed his own style of getting into his opponent's head.
Yeah, that's not shocking. Like Michael Jordan said he learned about like getting in players' heads and trash talking, and he said he got that from Larry Bird. Yeah, that's not shocking. Larry Bird probably is the greatest trash talker ever. I'm not surprised Michael Jordan said that about Larry Bird. I'm not shocked now one bit about that. But it's like I did some Larry Bird videos, but the one thing I never said about Larry Bird with his trash talking in his game, his confidence was on another level. Like his confidence, just to talk trash, and just even other stories. I'm gonna go to this spot. I'm gonna shoot it in your face. I'm gonna go to this spot. Hit the game winner. I'm gonna go home. Like the confidence of Larry Bird was on another level. Shout out to Larry Bird. I got much respect for Larry Bird.
And that this paid off big time, and so Michael developed his own style of getting into his opponents' heads and even went as far as befriending Charles Barkley during the 1993 NBA Finals, taking him golfing before Game 4 of those finals and giving him a $20,000 earring so that Chuck would lose his competitive edge. That's right, when asked why he did this, Mike supposedly said, "He won't get in my way the rest of the series. What's $20,000 to me? Charles thinks we're great friends. I hate that fat f***." An absolutely incredible story, and again, Michael himself said that he learned from Larry.
Oh, why he do Charles Barkley like that? Yo, Michael Jordan. Oh, nah, that's a trap all the way. What? We're about to play in the finals, and you gonna give me $20,000 like jewelry or whatever, and we gonna play golf? Oh no, that's a trap. Charles Barkley should have saw that from a mile away, but that's a trap. Oh man, no, Michael Jordan's savage for that. That's funny. Yeah, he definitely learned from Larry Bird. Ain't no way.
Giving him a $20,000 earring so that Chuck would lose his competitive edge. That's right, when asked why he did this, Mike supposedly said, "He won't get in my way the rest of the series. What's $20,000 to me? Charles thinks we're great friends. I hate that fat f***." An absolutely incredible story, and again, Michael himself said that he learned from Larry. He learned how to get into his opponent's heads, and this paid off big time as his career progressed. Which brings us to my final thoughts. What should we take away from this video? Well, to me, I think it's remarkable that the one guy that Michael Jordan could never best was Larry Bird, and maybe, of course, if Larry Bird's back did not give out, Michael would have gotten his chance to take down Bird because his career would have been longer. But it can also be said that if Larry's back held up, he would have been better, he would have stayed in his MVP form, and it could have been the Celtics who were beating the Bulls in the playoffs in the late 1980s, so Larry could have even gained a larger advantage on Jordan. We'll never know for sure there. What we do know is that in an extremely rare occurrence, it was an opponent who took things personal against Michael Jordan and actually got the better of him. Yes, Larry Bird took the loss in that 1984 exhibition game, but then after that, he did not do a whole lot more losing, especially in the playoffs. 6-0 for Larry Bird and the Celtics. That is something that Larry Bird will take to his grave, and is the reason why Michael was so hyped to beat Larry Bird when Larry was a coach. Finishing up here though, I do also think it's awesome that Mike really held no hard feelings against Larry. Sure, he is a competitive psychopath and always wanted to beat Larry, but he has openly praised Larry Bird. He has openly said that he has learned from Larry Bird, and he has said that he used this knowledge to help himself become the greatest basketball player of all time. With that,
That's the one thing I do like from Michael Jordan. Like, he gave respect to Larry Bird. I like that because Michael Jordan, no, Larry Bird is a competitor. MJ know that. That's why he have a lot of respect for Larry Bird. He respects his game. That's the one thing I do like about MJ. He do have respect for Larry Bird. I have a lot of respect for Larry Bird and his game as well. So yeah, that's the one thing I do like about MJ right there. I like that because MJ, if you're a competitor, MJ gonna respect you. If you're not scared of the moment, if you're not hesitant with your game, you highly confident, you trash talking, MJ give you respect. So I like that he gave Larry Bird his respect. And like he didn't envy Larry Bird for keep beating him. I like that he didn't envy him. I like that. You gotta respect players' games. Yes, you might be mad they keep beating you, but you have to respect it. You have to. But that is a serious question though, because like Larry Bird, I think he played 13 years in the NBA. If I'm correct. I'm just curious though. Let's just say Larry Bird played like 18, 19, 20 years. Because probably he would have got into the 90s. Would MJ probably have less rings than he do? Because think about it. Larry Bird played 13 years. Imagine if he was healthy, he played another 5 to 7 seasons. Would MJ have 6 rings? Would Larry Bird be the greatest basketball player of all time? I don't know. Even with Magic, like that would definitely be a good conversation. That would definitely be a good conversation. Most definitely. And a great debate.
That he used this knowledge to help himself become the greatest basketball player of all time. With that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you for watching.
That was a great video. Shout out to Mike Korzemba. That was an excellent video. I really did like that. MJ, he beat Larry Bird, like practicing for the Olympics. Larry Bird took that personal. Him and the Celtics, they beat MJ. Even though Michael Jordan was destroying the Celtics, but his team wasn't as good as the Celtics. Larry Bird was in his prime. Celtics, Larry Bird, Mikhail Parrish, Dennis Johnson. Michael Jordan wasn't beating them. He was coming in the league. He had to bring the Bulls to relevance. So he was just trying to put himself in the map, make the Bulls look good. But yeah, the trash talking, Michael Jordan talking about he got his trash talking from Larry Bird. I'm not shocked. Larry Bird was a savage. In a good way. In a good way. In a good way. Larry Bird, he was a great trash talker. So drop down in the comments below your thoughts about this video, your thoughts about Larry Bird, your thoughts about Michael Jordan, your thoughts about Michael Jordan never beating Larry Bird in the playoffs. If you want to talk about Michael Jordan, like other rivalries or other players with Dominique Wilkins, Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, or any other player, just drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm curious to see what you all think, and I hope everyone have a blessed day. I'm out.